Whew, strap in folks, it is gonna be a long one. Hello beautiful people! For those of you that don't know me, my name is Stephanie and I'm a tin whistle player. I've been playing tin whistle since September 2016 and I started as an adult learner, completely new to instruments for the most part, and now I play tin whistle as my job here on YouTube. I have some students, I create tutorials for other people to learn to play completely free. So I'm going to show you my progress on tin whistle from 2017 when I uploaded my first YouTube video to 2024, and we'll see if I've progressed, how I've progressed, etc. So I started playing tin whistle as an adult learner, as an adult beginner when I was 27. I had learned to play some instruments in school. I had a few oboe lessons, I had a few piano lessons. I used to strum a guitar occasionally, but I never got anywhere with those instruments. So although I kind of had an idea of how some music worked, I'd done a little bit of singing as well. I'd never really gotten into anything. I couldn't really read sheet music. So yeah, I was pretty much starting from scratch. I looked online at what the easiest instrument was to learn to play, and tin whistle came up, so I decided I would go for tin whistle. Now, there were a few videos that I found useful when I first started out on YouTube. Videos on things like ornamentation, which is a technique in Irish music mostly, but also you can use in other pieces of music as well. I think that was literally about it. I did follow one or two tutorials that people had made, like I make now, on how to play certain tunes. The rest of it I've worked out myself. I've never had a tutor, I've never had a formal lesson. So let's see how this has gone so far in my tin whistle journey, from my origins as a tin whistle player to where I am now. So this is the first video that I ever put up on YouTube as a tin whistle player. It's the Godfather theme tune. It's a little extract from. I was playing an MK Pro low D whistle and it sounds pretty cool, but if you listen, you can hear that I do have a very beginner sound. Now, some things you'll notice from this video is I am looking down. I'm looking down at notes that I've got written out on a sheet of paper, so I know what I'm supposed to be playing. I haven't memorized anything, I'm just looking at those notes. Second thing you'll notice is there's a lot of reverb, there's a lot of echo in the background, and that is to, yeah, as I said, make things sound better. Everything sounds better with a bit of echo and reverb, so I'm kind of covering for the fact that I'm not a perfect player here. One of the things I am doing here is separating every single note with tonguing or blowing. I'm blowing each note individually, if you will. And the final thing to note is that I don't have any backing music. I'm not sticking to a set rhythm. I'm not even actually playing the right notes for the most part, I don't think. I've got an idea of how the song goes. I'm playing that piece of music from notes I've pieced together from memory, and I'm playing at my own pace, my own rhythm, in my very own style. And as a beginner, 3 to 6 months in, that is completely to be expected. Let's see how I'm doing a year later. The next tune I've chosen is King of the Fairies. I'd started branching into a lot of trad music because that's what people were asking for. Now at this stage I didn't really know anything about Irish music. I was learning as I was going along. I still wasn't using a metronome. I still was working out tunes by ear myself. I didn't really know a lot about ornamentation or anything like that. So everything is kind of where it was before. I'm still just enjoying myself. I'm still just learning to play some tunes that I like and attempting to create tutorials for the tunes, the trad tunes and the folk tunes that other people are requesting. So let's take a listen. So you'll notice a few different things. I'm playing more at pace, I'm playing faster tunes, and that is something that I've always struggled with because I don't have the patience to practice tunes. I'm still playing note by note. I haven't got past that yet. I'm blowing each individual note. And I'm also kind of tripping over the speed of things a little bit. You'll notice a few cuts in the video because I couldn't get through the entire song. It sounds quite good. There's a little bit of rhythm going on there, even though I'm not using a metronome. There's a little bit of progression, but there's nothing major. So the next tune I've chosen is The South Wind. This was 2019. I've been playing for about 2.5 years at this stage. You can hear there's a little bit more emotion in the tune, and I've actually got rid of that individual note by note blowing now, so things are starting to sound a bit better. You can hear a few ornaments sneaking in there now. I'm getting the hang of some of those. And I'm actually playing a Chris Wall sweet brass here. I think this was one of the whistles that actually changed the way I played a little bit. It needed far less air and was a lot more responsive than the other whistles I played, so it gave me more breath to play with and allowed me to become a bit more expressive with my playing. I've got some nice clean notes there, which is great, and as you'll notice there are a lot less cuts, which means I'm actually playing the full length of the tune without making mistakes, so we're getting some progress here. As we move into 2020, I've just started using a metronome. So you can hear that I'm trying to keep that rhythm a lot better. There's a little bit of a foot tapping moment within this tune, which I'm kind of really pleased with. I'm playing a lot quicker and a lot more smoothly than previous years. And I think that's one of the main things that helped me improve was playing with a metronome, playing to a set beat. It really keeps your rhythm in check and gives you the challenge that you really need to improve your playing by trying to stick to that beat. You'll notice as well, again, I'm using a few ornaments. I'm getting a bit more confident with that. I'm rolling notes together more. It's starting to sound a little bit more like it should, a little bit more traditional perhaps. So yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit of progress here. Now 2021 was a standout year for me for a few different reasons. I've chosen the Centenary Jig. It is a tune by Luke Webb harpist, who, if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know is a professional Irish harp player who I play with, I get to collab with from time to time. He's a very skilled musician and is way ahead of me. He's studied this instrument through university, he teaches. It was the first opportunity that I'd had to play with other musicians. And that is the standalone thing that really improved my playing. So let's have a listen to the Centenary Jig. So I was invited to play the Centenary Jig with Luke Webb as part of a bigger collaboration project, and basically I had to up my game. I had to be a good musician, I had to be a good whistle player, I had to produce something that was impressive, that sounded professional, that was acceptable to send to somebody else, a professional musician that they could use. So yeah, it was a challenge, it was a goal that I had to work towards, which isn't something I've really had before this stage. I remember this being really difficult to play. I really struggled with how fast it was still at the time, but I was kind of pleased with how it turned out in the end. I really struggled to get that done. I was also working to a set rhythm and a set timing because I've moved on here from a metronome, which just gives you a beat, to actual music, actual backing music, which gives you the beautiful lilts and brings more emotion into the tune, and you kind of need to match that with your playing. And I think that's one of the things that really gave my playing a bit of a boost, was having that challenge, I think, to live up to. 2022 is the year that I probably did the most collabs with Luke Webb. Again, having that professional musician standard to aim for, because I was playing with somebody who was so much better than me and who loved doing these fast traditional Irish tunes, was really something quite special. You can hear even now at this stage that I do still separate notes with tonguing, but what you'll notice is that it's getting less prominent and it's blending in a little bit more to the tune. It's also as part of the tune rather than the entire tune for every note. So I do have ornaments in there, I do run notes together. I do still use tonguing, but I'm using it more sparingly. And hopefully it's starting to sound a little bit better. Now, some of the other things to note is that by 2022, I've actually started to branch into some pretty decent harmonies. So I'm able to pick harmonies out of a tune now by ear. I've experimented with creating some simple backing tracks, and as I move on from here, I start adding my own suggestions within the music. And again, this is part of playing with other musicians. When I started playing and collaborating with people that played different instruments and people that were at a higher level of playing than I was, I just needed to up my game. So that meant playing more complicated things. It meant adding harmonies or adding drone music, adding accompaniments. And these were all things that I had to learn pretty quickly in order to be able to participate in the collaborations that I was getting involved in. So I'm going to choose a selection of different videos from 2023 because I want to explain what I learned from each of these individual videos. I actually collaborated with a singer, guitar player. Basically, I was left to do an accompaniment only to this tune, and that is something I'd never done before. I'd never just accompanied on tin whistle. So let's have a little listen to see how that sounded.
My love has got no money, he's got his strong beliefs. Love has got no power, he's got his strong beliefs. My love has got no fame, he's got his strong beliefs. Love has got no money, he's got his strong beliefs.
So we're also working with a modern song here, and I was trying to do something that was complementary to whatever this musician had planned to do. I was trying not to wreck the cover already because it was sounding amazing.
What he's looking for, free from desire. Mind and senses purified and free from desire. Mind and senses purified and free from desire. Mind and senses purified and free from desire. Na 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 na.
Now this accompaniment, although pretty simple, actually took me so long to do. It was something very different for me at the time. The second video I wanted to pull up was my first composition that basically I ever really shared. I made the backing track for this one. It was pretty simple, and as you can hear, this is my first shared original composition. It actually had an amazing response on Facebook. It kind of went viral on Facebook. It had so many shares, so many likes and comments. I was really pleased with it. Everybody seemed to really like it. It's quite simple and straightforward, but I think it was something that... It was the first tune or piece of music that I'd been able to produce that sounded like the other tunes out there that I enjoyed playing. It was kind of like I finally understood the notes that I should be playing together. I understood enough to make chords that went with what I was playing, and it actually came together into a finished piece rather than just being a little bit of a melody that I've created in my head. Now the next video is Dropkick Murphys shipping up to Boston. This was actually one of the first videos where I got together with a whole selection of other instruments that I have and put them all together into one actual, fully arranged piece of music that I did myself. It's not the best thing in the world, I'm fully aware of that. But I was really proud with the fact that I was able to do this coming from absolutely nothing. I've still never been taught how to do this. It was just the more that I was learning to play the whistle and the more that I was learning to create backing tracks and things, the more confident I felt in trying to create something as a whole. Now it's difficult to know whether my technique as a tin whistle player has improved greatly within that time span. but I think my ability as a musician overall has definitely improved. Another tune that I covered in 2023 was Paddy Ryan's Dream. It was something that I did with another incredible musician, Raphael Milhomen. It was quite an experiment for me because I needed to come up with something at the start, a way to enter into this piece of music, into this tune that we were covering together. So I had to create something with a backing track that I was provided by Raphael. So that was interesting to start with. After that, the pace of this one was so fast that I really needed to practice. I really needed to put the time into practice to be able to play this, and I think it really made a difference. And finally, moving into 2024. I've actually only really covered some beginners tunes this year, but the one that I'll pull up to let you listen to is Brian Finnegan's tune Only. Now, if you don't know anything about Brian Finnegan, he is an incredible Irish flute and whistle player. Please do go check him out. This is one of his original compositions, and it's a beautiful, beautiful tune. One thing you might notice in this video is I'm using ornaments quite smoothly. A lot of my transitions are a lot more smooth than in previous videos, especially those high notes. They're coming out super clean and easy, and there's some quite fiddly little bits at the top there as well. It's not a particularly difficult tune to play, but I'm quite pleased with how it sounds. Again, I created the backing track for this myself. It's pretty simple, but also I'm sticking to a good rhythm. I've got some nice sounds going on here. In my opinion, there is definitely some improvement overall. So that is my progress as an adult beginner from 2017 to 2024. I hope this video was useful for you. I think to summarize, you can definitely achieve a lot more, a lot faster with a solid tutor, with some decent lessons, and with a lot more practice than I've actually had. For me, that's never been an option, mostly because of the way I like to learn. I kind of like to experiment and learn myself what's right, what's wrong, and what works and what doesn't. I think the only reason that I continued playing this instrument is because I was doing it myself. In that respect, it's all been from my own rules, from my own point of view. It hasn't been the most efficient way of learning. It hasn't been the most effective way of learning, but it's actually been a way that I've been able to stick with, and I'm pretty proud of where I am right now. One thing you do need to remember with music is that you don't have to play music to be the best. You don't have to play music to master a certain style of music if you don't want to. You can just play music to have fun, for enjoyment. The process for me has never actually been about becoming the best, or even the best that I can be, through hard work and dedication and study. It's just been about having some fun. It's been about playing the tunes that I recognize that I enjoy, and I've really had a fantastic time. I think overall there are definitely some tips that you can take away from this if you're just starting out. The sooner that you start playing with a metronome and the sooner you start playing with backing music, the better. These will give you the rhythm, the rigidity, the stability that you need to build in order to be able to play music well. Once you've got those things, I think that's probably more important than ornamentation. Ornamentation isn't necessary, but it's a good idea to try and get out of tonguing or blowing every single note and incorporating a selection of things. So you want some tonguing, some blowing, some ornamentation, and also some rolling through as well. A major jump in my ability and my performance was when I started playing with other musicians. If you don't currently yet play with other musicians, then I really encourage you to do so. it'll just give you that challenge. It gives you the opportunity and a goal to work towards, something that you have to do so that you don't let other people down. And I think, especially working with people that you know that play so much better than you, it's really going to push you to work towards becoming a lot better yourself. If you've got somebody else relying on you for something that's going to be good, well, you've got to put the hours in, you've got to put the practice in, you've got to put the work in, and it's kind of exciting as well. I know a lot more about Irish traditional music than I did when I started. I actually knew absolutely nothing. I didn't even know tin whistle was associated with Irish culture. That's what we were dealing with, folks. But I think the fact that I've listened to so many different musicians now, that I have listened to so much Irish music and so many different genres of music, you get a general idea of the sorts of things you need to be incorporating, the sorts of styles and techniques that you could be using, the sounds that you could be creating, and I think that's really useful to developing your own personal playing style. The most important thing, though, is to do whatever suits you. If getting a teacher, getting a tutor, having lessons suits your style of learning, then do it. If it doesn't and you just want to play at your own pace, by your own means, then do it, because if you're playing an instrument and you're enjoying it, the progress that you make will be all worthwhile if you stick with it. If you choose a learning method that doesn't suit you, then you're not going to learn as effectively anyway, and you're probably not going to stick with playing the instrument. So whatever works for you, that is what you need to do. That is it from me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested to get started playing tin whistle and you're still here at this stage in the video, you can find my free beginner's course linked in the description down below. I'll also pop it up here on screen, but don't forget to check through all my other videos, scroll through some of the old ones and some of the new ones and see what you think. Let me know your comments, please, down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Happy whistling, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.